Hello, everybody. It's me, Balada Sega Gamer, and of course, I wanted to do this video for a very long time, but yeah. Well, let's just cut to the chase. Sonic is gonna turn pretty much 25 years old, and they have been rumors that Sonic Team is gonna make two games. One of them is gonna be a legit 3D Sonic game. I don't know what's the title. It's gonna be called Sonic Adventure 3. Now, as you all know, Sonic Adventure is one of my favorite 3D Sonic games of all time. My favorite Sonic game of all time will still be Sonic 3 Knuckles, bitch. Well, anyway, warning. Here, warning. This is my opinion. If you don't like what I have to say about what my interpretation of Sonic being in 3D, then this will happen to you.
Don't worry, folks. It's not.
So are we good? Okay. So I'm going to start with part 1 with my gameplay ideas. Keep in mind, this was pretty hard. Pretty much, hold on, I need to get a drink of water. Keep in mind, this was pretty hard because not only I had to do a lot of thinking, but, I had to record the footage and I had to write myself an outline on what these gameplay styles should have. Now, keep in mind, these are my opinions. So, let's begin. Now, for a 3D Sonic standard, there should be like 5 gameplay styles. However, all 5 gameplay styles will contrast, maybe except for one, to contrast to the same objective. Get from point A to point B and reach the goal. Simple as that. If Sonic Adventure 2 could do it, if Sonic Heroes could do it, hell, if Sonic 06 could do it, this game will not fail. The only gameplay diversion of the two that it won't happen is pretty much the treasure hunting stages. But I'll explain how fast and quick pace the treasure hunting stages could play. Okay, now for the speed stages, I want the speed stages to have, pretty much the upgrades like we saw from Sonic Adventure 2. With light speed dash and everything. However, though, I don't want them to be fucking linear. Don't get me wrong, Sonic Adventure 2 did have a couple of stages that were non-linear, like Sky Rail. But if you see this gameplay footage, you trying to find an alternate pathway, let's just say that the camera wasn't cooperative. I want the camera to be loose, like Sonic Adventure 1, but yet again, not too loose, like Sonic 06 standard, where you fucking fall off to a cliff. So yeah, I want the upgrades. However, I want there to be multiple pathways in the Sonic game. Don't get me wrong, in Sonic Adventure, yeah, the first 2 or the first 3 levels were linear. By the time you pass Ice Cap, you see this gameplay footage right here, there are many multiple pathways, such as some in Twinkle Park, Red Mountain, Sky Deck, the second act of Lost World, not the game, I'm talking about the level, and of course, Final Egg had a bottom pathway, and of course another pathway during its third act after the linear run. So I want the Sonic stages, the Sonic and Shadow stages, to pretty much be like SA1 combined with Sonic 06 and Heroes, where you have multiple pathways. Like, I want to see hit and grind rails, maybe maybe a light chain dash with the rings, and I want to see more rainbow rings executed in mid-air height. Like, let's say if you find one pathway, you can use the physics to find the other pathway by jumping into a rainbow ring, and bam, there you go. You found an alternate pathway. They did it in Sonic Generations. Why not in the hell do it here? Of course. Water. And of course, the other thing I want to see about the Sonic Speed stages, or just any other character, is the way that they control. Basically, what I mean by that is that I don't want every button to be on the same button. Like, this is your Xbox 360 controller. Jump could be the standard, of course, and it could be the home and attack. However, though, spin dash could be the B button when you're performing on the ground, but in the air, you can basically do the bounce attack. And then, the next thing, the light speed dash can be on the X button, but when you're not against a trail of rings in mid-air on the ground, you can either do slide attack or the into shield attack, like, you know, like an air sweep kick. So that way, if there's any enemies like in the air, or if you want to kick their projectiles, you can just press the X button in mid-air, of course. Now, let's get on to the second gameplay style. Oh, wait, one more thing. And also, I forgot to mention, I want there, for the light speed attack, you know how in the first two Adventure games, they're a pain in the ass and hard to pull off, especially in Adventure 2? Basically, I want the light speed attack to have its own meter. What I'm saying is that, you know how in Sonic Heroes, where you jump up in the air, you press the Z button. Yeah, basically, I want, Sonic and Shell to have their own meter. Like, the higher meter you fill it up, the better. Like, let's say, if you fill it up, like, half of it, you can do boost mode. However, I want you to earn the boost mode by, of course, running for a very long time. And if you collect enough rings, then pretty much smash through enemies. And if you're running on a free, empty, linear pathway, you can pretty much, have after images of Sonic running in boost mode. And with boost mode, you do not have to use the spin dash to crash into enemies. You can just simply crash into them by having a boost mode. And when the meter's filled up, you can basically press one of the triggers, mainly the right trigger, or mainly the right bumper, and pretty much jump up in the air and pretty much use the light speed attack. And yeah, the light speed attack, you could just bombard every single enemy throughout the game. Now, it's time to talk about the second gameplay style, the flight and platforming stages. Hooray! Of course, now these stages will involve Tails. Pretty much, it'll be like the Sonic stages, but you'll pretty much like race somebody else. Instead of Sonic, it should be maybe Honey the Cat. Like, I was thinking about putting Cream in this game, but nah, Cream won't have any significance throughout the story. So how about you put Honey the Cat instead? Now, I'll put a link in the description box to see how Honey could work in the 3D Sonic game. But basically, Honey the Cat can pretty much fly like Tails, seeing how she has the angel wings on her back. But however, though, in mid-air, if you press the B button, okay, in mid-air or on the ground, she'll do a spin kick, similar to, Jack from the first Jak and Daxter, and Ryu from Street Fighter. And with the spin kick, you know, you can just basically spin into enemies and kick them, and it will still keep the momentum flowing. And with Tails, of course, Tails will control pretty much like Sonic, though. However, on the ground, I want Tails' attack to be the Tails attack, but in the air, Tails could pretty much drop bombs like he did in Tails Adventure and in Sonic 06. So that way, in midair, you know, instead of doing your Tails attack, Tails could pretty much drop bombs in midair, but on the ground he could do a Tails attack. And however, I want there to be like more Tails-centric levels where he's, you know, where there's a very challenging platforming level where you have to utilize his flight capabilities, because they almost did it right in Sonic Adventure. Because if you can see this gameplay footage right here from Skydeck and Speed Highway, there is like a very Tails-centric level where you have a bunch of bombless pits, a bunch of dash rings to fly through, and a fuck ton of shortcuts to use Tails' capable abilities. And I want the Tails level, again, like the Sonic level, to be from point A to point B. However, though, I want there to be multiple pathways, you know, and sections that only Tails could go through, not Sonic. Now, for the third gameplay style I want there to be is treasure hunting. Now, I was thinking about the inclusion of Bad Knuckles, but if Knuckles just went from point A to point B, just like the Great Clement said, he'll just glide you out the levels, and it'll be fucking over with. So, with Knuckles and Rouge's levels, I want the structure to be like Sonic Adventure 2. However, though, I want the radar to be like Sonic Adventure 1. But, most importantly, I want the hint system to pretty much be fixed upon. Like, the first hint could pretty much give you a word description on where the emerald's at. And if you still don't know where the emerald's at, the second hint monitor could not only give you a word description, but it could give you like a clear, sensitive picture on where is the emerald located at. However, though, once you go over there, I want there to be a little challenge, like let's say flying enemies or other obstacles that it'll be a little challenging to go by, of course. So yeah, I want the treasure hunting to pretty much be like I want the stage layout to be structured like SA2, but I want the radar to be like SA1. However, though, I want the hit system to be pretty much like the first hint. It'll give you a little description. The second hint could pretty much give you a little picture. The third hint could pretty much flat out point. Could pretty much send out Omochao and flat out point where it is, of course. And I want Knuckles and Rouge to have the mobility from SA2. However, though, just like Tails, I want Rouge to pretty much do her martial arts kicks on the ground, while in mid-air, she can pretty much throw her bombs. Okay, now for the fourth gameplay style. It doesn't have to be too exciting, but for the fourth gameplay style, I want there to be just regular platforming levels. Now, these levels will just have 5 levels within the section. These regular platforming puzzle levels will only have Amy and Silver. Now, for Amy, I want Amy's gameplay to pretty much be like Sonic Adventure 1 mixed with Heroes. What I mean by that, I want Amy's gameplay I want her acceleration rate to be like pretty much like the power character with her speed and mobility from Sonic Heroes, but less slipperiness. I want to see the Hammer Vault move from Sonic Adventure. However, though, if you press the B button and A button simultaneously in the air, I want her to do like a mid-air helicopter hammer spin like she did in Sonic Heroes. Basically, what I'm saying. And when she swing her hammer, I want her to do like a spin attack instead of pressing down on the enemy. If she has to press down on the enemy, she should do that from a standstill. But when she's moving, I want her to swing the hammer like a hammer spin. However, though, I want that hammer spin to have mobility. You know, like pretty much like the super spin, like from Crash Bandicoot. I want that to be have mobility though. But you know, this time I don't want her to be all dizzy or tired out from it. Now, as for Silver though, Silver's gameplay could pretty much be like Sonic 06, but again, just like Amy, I want Silver's gameplay to have the acceleration height from Sonic Heroes, but less slipperiness. And however, though, I want his gameplay to pretty much plays like Rasputin from Psychonauts. Now, if Sega would highly just get an original Xbox and pretty much play that game for at least a weekend or a day or two. I want Silver's gameplay to be like Psychonauts. I want not only to pick up enemies, I want him to have a laser blast from his weed head, like from his telekinetic I would say his telekinetic hair, so that way he could shoot out razor blasts and lock onto an enemy at the same time, of course. And you could maybe give him melee attacks. Surprise me, Sega. But basically, I want Silver's gameplay to pretty much plays like Rasputin from Psychonauts, because Psychonauts is a very underrated 3D platformer, and if you could pull that in a Sonic game, that would be great. Now, as for the last gameplay style will be mech shooting, and that will be with characters such as Dr. Eggman and E10 and E123 Omega. Now, of course, the mech shooting will pretty be like the how should I say it? The level design will pretty be like the mech shooting level design from the Eggman levels from Sonic Adventure 2, not the Tails level, the Eggman levels. And when I'm talking about that, I want them to be spacious enough where it can have more room to shoot enemies like Cosmic Wall and Weapons Bed, because in my opinion, those are the two best levels. However, though, I want the control set to be like Gamma from Sonic Adventure 1. And however, though, I want there to be 2 meters. One for hovering, and then the other meter could be like your missile barrage attack. Like, what I mean by that, the more enemies you lock on, the higher, just like the speed stages, the higher the meter will go up. The first meter can pretty much have an infinite machine gun attack, or let's say, yeah, it could pretty much have an infinite machine gun attack, or let's say you can unlock more than 30 enemies instead of 11 or 12. And then the second meter could be like a flamethrower attack. Then the third meter could be like a missile barrage attack, of course. And pretty much in these levels, you'll be, shooting around and shit like that. But yeah, again, I want the level design to pretty much be like Weapons Bed and Cosmic Wall, because those are like the best 2 levels in Sonic Adventure 2. And I want them to be more involved, and in terms of the bosses, they should be very challenging and not the shoot to win button, of course. I want there to be no auto jumping like Gamma from Sonic Adventure 1. I want the jumping physics to pretty much, I want it to be like Gamma. However, though, I want, the jumping and hovering physics to be like the speed characters, and I want there to be a little meter like how long you can hover, because if you use the because in Sonic 06, Gamma could infinitely hover by just tapping the A button. I mean, not Gamma. Omega could infinitely, cause it could infinitely hover by tapping the A button. So with Omega and Eggman, pretty much you could pretty much have a meter to quote how long, you know, how long you can hover in mid-air. And I want there to be a second meter, so that way you can power up your weapons. Like, the more enemies you shoot, the higher that meter will go. And pretty much, yeah, pretty much those are my ideas for the 5 gameplay styles. As for multiplayer, I want there to be action speed stages where, let's say, where you race to the goal. Flight stages could be pretty much the same thing, but more challenging. Treasure hunting stages where you can have the radar in the multiplayer mode. That's when you can have the radar like SA2, but in single player mode I want the radar to be like SA1. And of course the mech shooting gameplay could be a part of that multiplayer. And as for the other Sonic characters such as Cream, Vector, SBO, and you know the rest, you could pretty much have them be unlockables in the multiplayer, while in the single player you could just have those characters, like, you know, like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Omega, Shadow, Rouge. Pretty much have those characters in the single player mode. So if you want to have Blaze unlock for the speed stages, you can pretty much get emblems. Now, as for the aesthetics, I want the graphics to pretty much be like Sonic Generations, of course. And yeah, I want the graphics to be like Sonic Generations. Sorry, that was the phone. I really gotta edit this. Yeah, I want the graphics to be like like Generations. And as for the music, well, just listen.
Rainbow Saki.
this. That's how I want the music in Sonic games to be. Now, I know Sonic games are mostly known for having rock and roll tracks, but I want there to be more variety than just the electric guitar and industrial music. I mean, the characters can have their own musical motif, that's okay, but I want there to be not only rock and roll, industrial, mechanical, jazz, and rap, but I want there to be, I want there to be like some orchestral music, so at least it can highlight the environments. Because you know how everybody loves, how everybody loves like Zelda music, and how the environment and atmosphere, especially going around the temples as Link captures the gameplay and has a lot of emotion. I want Sonic levels to be like that. So yeah, this is part 1 of SA3 ideas. Now, as for part 2, I don't know when that's gonna come out, but I'll let you know. And until then, toodles.